Preview. Preview.
Hello my faithful ballers, today we are going to be going over, after towers exist, why Saiyans can survive within the vacuum of space. I'm doing this video for a number of reasons, mostly because I keep seeing people downplay the survivability of the Saiyan ways, and a lot of misinformation about their capabilities when it comes to being in space and in vacuums, and when it comes to the internal system. So I hope all of you enjoy as I go over these in the next two videos. And thank you for watching. Okay, the first point we'll cover in this first video is, of course, the physical and energy attributes of the Saiyan ways, and why just the physical attributes alone are enough for them to survive in space for an amount of time. So anyway, first we will focus on the just general durability and endurance of a Saiyan. Now, even the weakest Saiyans can of course survive in nuclear level attacks. They can also survive entire attacks that can wipe out entire islands, continents, and even completely wipe all life off from a planet. Or even just small moon level attacks. So any type of debris that would hit them in space wouldn't really be that much of an issue for them, and they probably most likely wouldn't even notice this. Same for like any large asteroids as well. They'll probably just fly straight through them, to be honest. So now to the other attributes of the Saiyan ways. Also, Saiyans can quite easily withstand heats of up to 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit, or 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. So the unprotected UV rays wouldn't really damage them at all. They can also withstand temperatures that can freeze them completely solid, and then just break out of it with relative ease, either with key energy or just by brute forcing it off. And then once Saiyans are frozen once, you know the same thing isn't going to happen to them a second time. So they can withstand incredible heat, incredible cold, and incredible force, concussive, and impact trauma. So now we move on to the breath and the lung capacity, because space in a vacuum always affects your internal system of all else. Luckily for Saiyans, your internal system is so far above humans, it's insane. First of all, Saiyans can hold their breath for at least 40 to 120 hours. Why can they do this? Well, simple. The gravity on planet is either 10 times that of Earth, which of course would mean the atmospheric pressure there would be higher as well, which would mean that Saiyans would have to have a lung capacity far greater than ours if we are to say that it has the same type of oxygen on it as our planet does, but the Saiyans can operate with less oxygen than a human, and the diaphragm is more powerful. This is seen more in the womb of spirit and time as well, that only has 17% oxygen of Earth. But even in there, Saiyans like half Saiyans like Trunks and Gohan, who have not been exposed to any type of gravity training whatsoever, or any type of atmosphere even relatively similar to the planet of Vegeta, can survive in there. Also worth noting that in the gravity chamber, there is no type of outside force affecting the atmospheric pressure. So all that pressure that's on you is on you, and it's that much harder to breathe. In fact, it's so hard that you would only be able to get about 7%, if not 1.04% oxygen in at a time. So Saiyans need very little oxygen to really survive. Even Saiyans that have never been exposed to these type of conditions before. Oh, and humans would normally die with just 10% oxygen in the air. So with that out of the way, now we will move on to the energy aspect of a Saiyan. Key energy is actually pretty impressive. Saiyans is able to mimic the atmosphere of a planet, essentially, and that's seen in the show when it causes tsunamis and weather changes. Vegeta even states that the greatest Saiyans can literally compress that atmosphere into a singular ball to make a moon. Also, so it can easily protect them in the depths of space for much longer than their physical bodies will be able to hold out. And on top of all that, Saiyans can also shield themselves with their ki energy if they have enough of it, like Broly did in the Broly movie. It may be non-canon, but there's nothing saying that a Saiyan of similar power could do it, which no Saiyan had that power level except for Broly and a few super elites. But you know what I mean. And if necessary, it can even also block out deadly radiation. But I would argue that Saiyans wouldn't really be that much affected by radiation, considering the radiation from the moon is what allowed them to transform into absorbers. So if anything, it would either A, and strengthen them, or B, not affect them at all, or very little. And that's mostly why Saiyans can survive in space physically, and most definitely do it with ki. Now it's not for very long, and without a high power level, it's for a rather limited amount of time. But the fact they can do it at all, even at a base with just base Saiyans, the weakest of Saiyans, is still impressive. Now I'll be putting links in the description below about my research and about how I came to these conclusions. Hope you stay tuned for the next 2 parts to come after this, and thank you and bye bye. And remember, stay faithful, my ballers.